Hey everybody, this is Praxis. In this video I'm going to be talking about 3 plant-based pantry items that are truly a fantastic addition to a pantry, and I think a lot of preppers aren't even aware of. In fact, one of them, I bet you've never even heard of it.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Not waiting, better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything.
For most people, when they begin setting up their prepper pantry, they stock it with things that they commonly see on a lot of prepping channels. That means a lot of rice, beans, kind of dried grains, canned foods, maybe jarred foods. And I do have a lot of those things in my own pantry, but it's important not to stop there. It's important to remember that a pantry is something that you actually want to be able to eat out of in a way where you can satisfy a lot of the different health requirements and, you know, to be honest, a lot of taste requirements that you might have in your normal diet. In this video, I want to share 3 different things that I think a lot of people tend to overlook. I'm going to start with the most obvious, and then I'm going to go to the one that you probably never even heard of before. I think the most obvious is dried fruits. This is something I have a lot of in my pantry. This is dried mango. I also stock dried cranberries. I stock dried goji berries. That's probably a type of berry that a lot of people haven't heard of before, but there are a lot of good nutrients in goji berries, and you can buy them in bulk quantities as well. Other things that I store, dried papaya, dried pineapple. Dried fruits in general are not only a good source of nutrition. I know a lot of people are going to push back in the comments below because, you know, whenever you say something like that dry fruits are a good source of nutrients, people are going to say, well, it's not, if it's not absolutely pure right off the tree. In fact, if it's not still growing on the tree while I'm biting into it, it's too old and it's lost all of its nutritive value. Okay, you know, if you want to live in that world, that's fine. And yeah, for sure, the fresher, the better. But if the alternative is nothing at all, sometimes it's good to have something that, you know, is at least better than nothing at all. And I think dried fruits are a great way to go for that. You get a lot of nutrients in them, and also they taste good, and you know, they can help to kind of flesh out what could otherwise be a rather boring and depressing kind of staple diet if you ever needed to really live out of your pantry. So get yourself some dried fruits. I think they're a great treat and a great source of nutrition. Next thing on my list is something that is really, really fresh, and that is sprouting seeds. Sprouting seeds are something that I use just in my normal everyday life. In fact, right here is a tower that's used for sprouting seeds. What you do is you put new seeds up in the top and you water them, and the water kind of cascades down through, and then you keep adding more seeds to the top, and you're using the seeds that have already sprouted in the bottom. So I have a continuous supply of fresh greens that, you know, literally are still alive while I'm eating them, and the seeds seem to last years and years. You know, I'm sure the germination rate goes down over time, but I keep them in a cool, dark pantry, and they seem like, you know, several years after when they say is their best by date, I'm still using them, and the germination rate seems really, really good. This is a great way of getting fresh fresh vegetables into your diet, even in the dead of winter. If you were in a situation where, let's say there was some kind of like, worst case scenario, there's like some kind of a nuclear war and there's nuclear winter and you can't grow crops for several years. If you had sprouting seeds, you could continue to have fresh vegetables in your diet for years, and you can store so much of this stuff. This bag is going to last, like, well, not forever, but it lasts a long, long time, you know, running it through. Every time I have a new day, like each one of these days is like about 1 tablespoon of the seeds out of these bags. So they last a long, long time. By the way, I'm going to put links down in the description below if you want to check out any of this stuff and you know, purchase any of it. In fact, yeah, all of these things I actually source online. Some stuff makes more sense to get at the grocery store. Some stuff makes more sense online. All these things here seem like I can get pretty good deals online. So I'll put my links below if you want to check any of those out. The last thing I wanted to talk about is this right here. And this was something I think a lot of people probably aren't even familiar with, that they've never even heard of it before. And in fact, it's kind of new to me. It's called tiger nuts. And what these are is it's kind of like a tuber kind of thing. It's almost like a potato, but they're dried, and they're formed into these you know, little things about the size of a dried chickpea. You take them and you put them in water overnight. I'll usually just put boiling water onto a bunch of them, and they'll form these little puffy balls because they swell up when they get rehydrated with water, and they're crunchy. There's not like a killer amount of flavor. There's like a little bit of sweetness in it, but it feels like it feels like a really human kind of food. It feels like the kind of thing that we used to hunt, well, not hunt, the kind of thing that we used to forage. It feels like really great roughage. It has some calories in it as well. One serving of this is 3 tablespoons, and there's 150 calories in that. It's not, killer in terms of calories, but it feels like a really nutritious kind of food, the kind of thing that you want to have a lot of that in your diet for like roughage to kind of keep your digestive system working really well. Another nice thing about it, and you might have been able to hear how crunchy these things are, and you have to chew on them for a while. It gets back to that kind of old way that our ancestors used to live their lives, where we were eating food and we had to chew it for a while in order to actually process it and eat it. And that's something that a lot of people have gotten away from today, where everyone's like taking their food in shake form. And I don't know if you've heard about this. This is something that I've heard about recently myself, that there's like this fad going around called mewing or mooing or something like that. And essentially what it is people have given this name to the idea of eating things. That's not the best way to put it, because the fad isn't even as intelligent as that. The basic idea is that people used to chew things, and your body is used to like using your face muscles and things like that. And because people are it's all like, these soft like sandwiches and like, shake kind of things, and people eat a lot of like really soft foods. So you never really exercise all these muscles. So everybody's faces are all like we got no chin, and there's like no facial, muscular structure to the face. And for cosmetic reasons, not for health reasons at all, of course, for cosmetic reasons, people have started doing this thing called mewing or mooing or whatever, where, they don't do something intelligent like going back to the types of foods that we used to eat where you actually had to chew them. They essentially take pieces of rubber or silicone and they put it in their mouth and they kind of like push down on this piece of rubberized silicone or whatever, and that's like how they get exercise in their face. It doesn't dawn on any of these people. It's like, well, maybe we should just like eat the kinds of foods that you need to chew to simulate chewing on foods. But anyway, long story short, mostly I took that detour to make fun of people. This is a great way of getting back to that kind of old-fashioned way where you put food in your mouth and you actually had to chew it, and it's good to have the exercise up in your face, and it feels like it's kind of almost like cleaning out your teeth. This stuff doesn't get like lodged in your teeth. Anyway, I really like tiger nuts. I've been using them for a couple of years now. Feels like a really good healthy food, and I think all 3 of these things would be excellent additions to your pantry. Are there any things that you have in your head that you think a lot of times on prepping channels people don't tend to bring up? Types of things like tiger nuts, how often do you hear about that? I mean, even sprouting seeds, that's kind of a common thing, but you don't hear preppers talking about it very much. Are there things that you have in your pantry that you don't think get represented enough here in the prepping community? I would love to hear your thoughts. Other people would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, because there are so many new people coming to prepping nowadays for reasons that are kind of obvious, and they could all use our help to kind of jumpstart them out of the rice and beans and canned goods mantra that they hear on a lot of prepping channels. Or the other one is like the totes full of dehydrated food. There's a lot more to setting up a prepper pantry, and I bet you have something to share with others. That's it, and thanks for watching. Hey YouTube preppers, if you enjoyed this video, here's another that I think you might like. But before you click on it, I wanted to take a moment to thank all the people you see on the right-hand side of your screen. They help to support all the work that I do here over at patreon.com. If you'd like to join them and get your name added to the list, the link's below.